now. What's up, guys? Welcome to Devil's Advocate. Today, I want to make it a bit more. We have not necessarily a topic. Fresh and Fit did another. They were on another podcast, which I don't know if you guys know it, but it's just pretty. These people are pretty big in the financial YouTube space, so it's a different questions, different viewpoints that Fresh and Fit will, I don't know, debate or whatever. So I figured it'd be a nice take on seeing other people's views on Fresh and Fit's content and stuff. So I figured, I'm gonna give it a try. We're gonna watch it and check it out and see our reactions. So this is pretty much a reaction video to the latest Fresh and Fit podcast, right? But before that, hopefully you guys like, subscribe, check out my other videos. I am slowly getting there, growing, and it is an amazing feeling. So please join. But yeah, let's check it out. We may not finish it. I mean, I don't want to make this like a couple episodes long like the other one. So like our other reaction to Fresh and Fit content. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. All right, let's get started.
So basically, I'm from a small island called Barbados, right? And back in Barbados, there's not much going on with entrepreneurship. Yeah. Basically, you go to school, get a job, get a career, right? So what happened was I started watching YouTube videos online. I saw Vera and Stefano. So
what were the most common problems that you found in your viewers?
Fat. Number one, hygiene.
Hygiene and being fat.
Yeah. Well, let's stop there. let's talk about being fat.
Okay.
From what I've seen, it doesn't really make that big of a difference if you could overcome that with confidence. If you are so confident in yourself, I've seen throughout my career in real estate, some of the real estate developers there were overweight.
Yeah.
Some of them severely overweight.
Yeah.
And I've seen them with so many different women, and have no problem. They're just charismatic. They're funny. You want to be around them. They draw people in. I haven't really seen that make that big of an effect.
So I'll say this, right? You have a point. However, think about desire. Yeah. For example, I might have charisma. I might be confident, but like desire-wise, does she really want me? So for example, all guys that have money, right? So you know what?
Yeah.
I can work for myself. I got money. No girls want me. However, what do they really want? So my thing is like, even though you're not in shape, if you're in shape, I'm telling you right now, it broadens your horizon because once again, you get more quality girls and as well they desire you as a person.
But couldn't you also argue that if you are overweight and you just that isn't something that's of importance to you, that they'll see that too and they say, oh, if it's not important to him, but he's confident and he has his life together, he has all these other qualities, it's not going to make that big of a difference.
Well, so I'll be honest about this. Yeah. A lot of times when you see these fat guys with a girl, one of two things. Either they have money or they're paying for sex or paying these chicks.
I've seen I'll tell you, like,
because there's a lot of tricks. Yeah. There's an entire, I don't know if you guys want to go into this, but there's like an entire sugar baby tricking culture where girls are pseudo escorts, etc. So, like a lot of these rich guys that aren't like that are fat or whatever, confidence and works and everything else like that. But we want guys to be a complete package because let's say you have money and you have confidence, right? But you're fat. Well, you're going to alienate a large portion of women that just won't give you a chance because you don't meet a physical requirement, like you're fat. Like it is what it is. You'll just turn them off. Yeah. And on top of that, the girl, a lot of the times you're not going to get that same visceral desire or attraction or arousal from that woman. You're not going to get the best out of her. And we tell guys we want you to get the best out of your chick.
I guess my argument would be that there's so many people out there that it doesn't matter if you maybe attract 10% versus 30, because 10% is still a lot when you consider there's like 7 billion people.
So I would probably agree that I'm just intuitively a larger contingent of women that are more attracted to a non-fat person.
Yeah.
And there are people that are attracted to a fat guy. But I also think, I also don't know. Yeah, I guess that's all.
Well, and here's the thing.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So in today's day and age, the issue is that girls are a lot more selective now than they ever were because women make their own money. Feminism has kind of come in and women are strong and independent. They have this narrative that Beyonce's kind of fed them where they're not settling, right? Strong and independent. What do I need you for? You better come in and bring some of my life. And what's happened is a lot of guys are ostracized in the dating game now because a lot of guys, quite frankly, just don't measure up for a lot of girls.
Yes.
And a lot of girls have basically an overinflated sense of self-worth. You can attribute this to dating apps, you can attribute this to Instagram, you can attribute this to the internet, TikTok, etc. All of this has kind of come in and made women feel in general that they deserve the most and they deserve a top tier guy because they might have dated a top tier guy. Maybe they had sex with a top tier guy. Maybe they hung out with one. Maybe they got invited to a boat party. Maybe they met a celebrity here. So women nowadays have access to the highest levels of men. So a guy that was average 5'8", 5'9", making $50K per year might have been able to find a girlfriend or a wife 10, 15 years ago. But nowadays, it's a lot harder for the average guy. And this has been shown in the studies, right? 1 in 3 men hasn't had sex in a year or is a virgin between 18 and 30. Women swipe right only about 5% of the men on Tinder. Guys are.
I don't know about you, right?
Uh-huh.
This is probably personal, but I'm gonna be honest with my audience, right? Where, yeah, I haven't had sex in over a year. I mean, I'm still getting over a cold, so excuse me. I admit that the dating market is. I'm not a skinny guy, nor I'm an active looking guy, right? So I admit that the dating market is very hard for. I won't say I'm overweight, but I'm saying I'm chubby. I'm bigger than, I guess, other guys, whatever. So I understand that the dating market is much harder for certain type of men. And yeah, I agree that women are more pickier than ever. And I agree with the stat because it is a stat that you use a lot, that there are more men than ever being sexless, right? No intimacy, no, connection with anyone. Are you, it's personal. I don't know if you want to say it, but how's your dating life is?
I'm very single. I've hooked up. I mean, not super recently, but it's been less than a year or something.
Okay.
But I'm not, I'm not with anybody. And I'm not actively looking, but
What? Why is? I want to know, why is that?
honestly, I think there's two reasons. One is work, which is worth doing if you want to be, but if you don't, at the moment anyway, it's fine. It's extra work, and two, I don't know. I guess I'm comfortable taking care of myself and not having anybody in my life to have to consider all the time.
Okay.
Some of my favorite moments are when I'm like home chilling, and we were just talking about this a little earlier before the podcast started. The peace and quiet you get, I don't think it's gonna stay that way with me forever, but for now, I'm totally fine with it. But I will say this: I have a very close friend. I don't know if he's 6 feet tall. He's taller than me, so I mean, that's a low bar, but I'm sure. But I don't know if he's 6 feet. But he's a big guy. He's a fat guy. He gets girls all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Which guy?
Huh?
Which guy?
I don't know if you know, but he's on the show. He hosts
the host. Really?
Yeah.
What kind of he gets girls like that?
Bro, I don't understand. I don't understand it. When I watch him, I guess it's confidence because he does have that.
Well, what type of girls he gets?
Huh?
What type of girls he gets?
Pretty girls, great girls, girls. And I'd be like, I wanted to do that. Like,
really?
He's real. I guess he's real comfortable in his own skin. You know what I mean? He's an average, dude like me. He's not pulling like a ton of money or anything like that.
I do think. Let me say this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can tell you this. I have a lot of comments in my comment sections in my videos saying that I'm, an incel and I get no girls. But that could be far from the truth. I have baby mamas, and I'm not a virgin. But I gotta say this, right? When I apply myself, right, it doesn't mean that I won't get a girl. I do see that, like, I don't know your friend's I don't know success rate, but I always find that the problem is that men do they do what is it like uh I forgot the term, but it's like they hit on a lot of girls, and
like
they just
the shotgun effect.
yeah they just spread it out and just hopefully get anyone that fits, right? But that's the thing with men, where I've been there where I just, like, on dating apps, right? I just message as many as I can, and whatever replies, I got something, right?
Right. Boo.
So that's the thing where I think, but I'm more in like what you're doing right now, where I'm not really bothered. I'm not really trying like that.
Yeah.
That's the thing where, it's like I'm not putting a whole lot of effort. I mean, like, I'm talking to some people, I may try something, but I mean, I'm not putting a whole lot of effort, right? And I'm not putting a whole lot of concern. So I also see that, like, I can see that, like, again, average men may not be, girls are not like hanging on our heels like the top percent men, but then I always feel like there are plenty of women to go around, especially if you're not highly picky about looks, right? I mean, there are women's of all flavors, all looks, right? So I'm not like crazy, but I'm not looking for a supermodel. So really, like, that's definitely off my list. I'm not so I'm not worried about that. So I can see that. I do think that, like, for me personally, where all these things with, like, I guess the dating stuff and all the things, more like, I'm more saying, like, I think men should self-improve for themselves. Get the money, get the hobbies, get the peace of mind, all these things, right, for yourself. Enjoy your life, enjoy how you is, and then, especially, let me say this, especially if you're an older man, and we're old men, right? Where women that comes into our life is just a plus. And I've said that to, as crazy as some of my audience may think, that I don't have no one, or that I don't get no chance with anyone. I've said that to a few women that I've dated, where I'll be upfront with women, any woman I'm dating, that right now in my life, you will be a plus. That's it. You're not gonna be. I'm not gonna make you the number one or priority, right? Because I've been there and I've done that, and it has actually hurt me and destroyed me. That's why, you know what? Maybe we could talk that, because I personally believe for a successful relationship, a woman should love a man more than a man loves her. Right? I believe for a successful relationship, because I believe for a man, his love should be about his purpose, because that's, his purpose, his ambition, his drive, because I think that's what's going to fulfill him and actually create something, so he could, let's say this, right? One of your purpose, ambition, your goal right here is to become a writer. And I think if that succeeds, and I believe it will produce something that would actually be beneficial for any partner you may have, right? Because as men, we provide, we take care of who's with us, right? That's the thing. The king, he takes care of his queen.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, a queen doesn't necessarily take care of a king, right? So that's the thing with women, is that if a woman is ambitious and she's, let's say, I don't know, driven or whatever, she becomes, let's say, a doctor or doctor, lawyer, whatever. She in turn won't be taking care of a man. The man that's with her won't necessarily benefit from her success, because most women I believe, will either want a man that's equal to them or above them in social standings or whatever. So if as a woman succeeds, she expects the man to succeed. So really, technically, what's the point then? Because if a man is ambitious and trying to make something of himself, really, men don't care if a woman's ambitious and needs to be something special. So really, that's the dynamic where that's why I say that I think it's just men being ambitious, being having guidance, having a direction should be the number one driving factor, because that's also regulates a man's mental, right? I think that regulates a man's mind, gives him purpose in life. Where again, I think a lot of modern day men are directionless, and you see that with a lot of men nowadays, right? Where they don't know what to do, they're just lazing around, or they have no focus, and we get emotional men, and we get I don't know. It's a bit extreme, but school shooters, shit like that, right? So, what do you think?
All right. I mean, I think I agree that you should build yourself up for yourself. That should be priority number one. I don't think. I mean, doing it for somebody else isn't a good enough motivation. You're not going to keep it up once you got them. You know what I mean? So if you're focused on just making yourself a better person, you become a better option to the right partner. So that part I can definitely co-sign. Absolutely.
What part you not co-sign?
I don't know. Well, you said, I'm not saying I think you're wrong. I don't know. If a woman's ambitious, does her family or does the man she's with benefit from that ambition? I think it depends on the woman. I think there are women.
Everything. Come on. I think in general you don't. That's why I say in general I don't think you do.
Okay. I mean, there are. Okay. I mean, if you say in general you don't, I mean there are. I mean, you're not likely to see a career woman not with a career man, but I mean they move in those circles anyway. So, like if I want to be a writer, I'm gonna find myself around a lot of writers. Just in pursuing my goal is gonna happen. So if a woman succeeds and she's got a family, maybe her drive is to succeed for her family, so she could do better for her family. Sometimes that happens.
Well, I do say that it's equal. I mean, like women go for men that are equal to them or above them. I'm more saying, like, let's say this. That's true that you'll probably run in the same circles, but it's not. It doesn't do much for you. It doesn't necessarily change your, your want of a woman, right? If let's say this, if I'm dating a woman, her being, let's say, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, it really doesn't. It's cool, right? I mean, like, okay, cool, that's what your job is, but I mean, like, really, that's not a perk, or that doesn't benefit me necessarily.
Okay.
The thing is that that's what the difference where maybe why I said like men's love is unconditional, is that men is not looking for the necessarily benefit that women may produce. Men in reality, men just like want someone who loves them, respects them, loyal to them. I mean, cooking and cleaning is great, but I mean, especially modern day man is like, what? Okay, great. I mean, if you cook and clean, that's a plus. But I was like, hell, I clean when I want to clean, and I cook whatever I want to cook. So really, it's like, okay, great. I mean, if I'm a woman with a woman right now, and she's not cooking for me, okay, I'm not gonna cry about it, and it's not gonna change necessary for me, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's like those things are nice perks, but those don't necessarily make or break a woman in my eyes. It's more like it's. But I think it's part of how you're going to how a woman would treat a man. But the difference is that, let's say, for men, career is very important because, I mean, in a woman's eyes, because if you don't have a good career or a job that's making money, Will she love you? Like, so if you meet a woman that's a writer, and then you failed as a writer, you stop writing. Well, that I think that would be, a blemish in her eyes, in a sense, right? Because then where you're going, right? There's no ambition. You don't have the drive anymore, or whatever, stuff like that. Where it matters to her that these things, right? These, I guess, these orbiting factors, So where I say women's love is kind of conditional. So I don't know. But let's continue.
Really suffering when it comes to dealing with the opposite gender. Women, on the other hand, it's great for them because you'd be surprised, dude. Girls in major cities have more opportunities than ever before. Like the internet has changed the game. I talk about this in my book, Why Women Deserve Less, by the way.
There you go.
But in general,
Every time I see that
girls in big cities have more opportunities than ever before. And the thing is that they don't really have to prove themselves anymore. Like if they're hot, they have an Instagram profile, etc. Guys that are elite are going to hit them up and say, yo, let's hang out. And let's go into like a dream scenario, right? Let's say you turn 18, right? And all of a sudden, girls are offering to fly you out to California to hook up with them. You're getting offered to go on book.
I'm going to, like, just for the audience, like, if you guys want to watch the full thing, you should watch it. Again, this is why I don't want to cut this up into pieces. So I may skip certain things because we cover a little bit of the topic, the idea of it. So, we'll either skip certain things or we watch something fully. So, we'll see.
I want a promiscuous woman. I don't want a girl that's fat. I don't want a girl that's rude, that's annoying, that's crass. That's considered insecure. But if a girl says, I want a man that's taller than me, makes more money than me, successful, ambitious, you go, girl. You know your worth.
You go, queen.
The problem is that male boundaries are disrespected. Female boundaries are totally respected and encouraged. And even if a girl doesn't, let's say a girl's fat, obnoxious, and rude, and quite frankly doesn't deserve the caliber of man that she thinks she deserves, society will still prop her up and tell her, you deserve that multimillionaire 6'3" guy, but even though you're ugly.
But let's just say that is what's wrong with that?
With what?
If she feels like she's entitled to that, what does that do? What negative outcome does that have?
Well, the problem with that is that number one, she feels entitled when she hasn't earned it, and then number two is that sets her up for long-term failure. Because the reason why so many girls are perpetually single is because they overestimate their sexual market value. And what I mean by sexual market value is their looks. They think they qualify for a guy that's an 8 or a 9, top-tier guy, when they're a 5. And the reason why they think that is because they might have matched with one of these guys on Tinder, they might have slept with one of these guys on a drunken hookup, or they might have went out on a coffee date with one. But the reality is you were able to attract that guy, but can you retain that guy? And that's where many modern day women fail. They're not able to retain these caliber men. They can just get social, sexual situation with them and nothing else. But then they think, okay, I deserve this caliber of guy. I'm not settling. Or if they do settle, they treat the guy that's actually on their level very poorly because they think they deserve more. So this delusion ends up not only affecting their ability to find a guy, but ends up hurting the guy that ends up settling.
But then I feel like it's 50% fault for both sides. It's also the guy's fault.
It is.
For not setting boundaries.
Yes.
For accepting.
But it goes back to what I said. Men don't set boundaries because they're shamed for doing so. If I could get canceled for saying a girl is fat and rude, I can literally, they'll be like, oh, taking this down off TikTok, hate speech. That's misogynistic. But if a girl says small dick energy, I'm not dating a short guy, completely no, that's not. Men can't have standards, but women can.
It's pushing the elbow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a short guy.
Yeah.
I understand that I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah, of course.
But my thought is that, out of 7 billion people, there's enough of a percentage that would be into what I have to offer.
For sure.
So.
And obviously you've been able to amplify that by, creating a great platform, making yourself very financially successful, etc. But the point I'm trying to make is that a girl can go on the internet and make fun of you for being short and say you're a loser and you have small dick energy. But if you went ahead and you said, well, you're a fat bitch, you're going to get canceled.
I feel like guys say that all the time online.
And you get canceled.
No, but it depends on who we're talking. If we're talking about random people online, I feel like they already say that.
And here's the other thing: girl can make fun of a guy for being short. He can't control that, right? But if a dude makes fun of a girl for being fat, she can absolutely control that. But we sit here and say, "Love your curves, you go, girl, queen." But if a guy is short, well, small dick energy short. You can't control that.
I don't know. I feel like you almost have an advantage now being short because you could really exemplify other qualities and people look at you
For sure.
differently. So I feel like you could always play to his strength.
So
My point,
Like
yeah,
that.
you're
Yeah.
Most guys
And here's the other thing too. Like what I'm basically trying to demonstrate here is that female standards are always celebrated. Male standards are always disrespected and looked at as discrimination.
Why do you feel like it's that way?
Well, men can't speak openly about what they want. Like you said before, men need to have boundaries, right?
Sure.
What I'm saying is that the reason why so many men don't have boundaries is because it's politically incorrect and socially unacceptable for men to have boundaries. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
If I tell guys, yo, you have a girlfriend, she needs to respect you, she shouldn't be at the club, shaking booty and hanging out with her girlfriends and going to Miami for girls trips, they'll sit there and tell me that I'm insecure. They'll say, oh, what's wrong with you? What are you so insecure about? No, it's just common respect that you have a man at home. Why are you putting yourself in precarious situations that could hurt the relationship, right? But on the other end, right, like girls are totally, like if a girl says, I want this caliber of man, I want this, whatever, even if she doesn't qualify for it, society will prop her up and tell her, you deserve that man. Like no one ever tells women no, but we definitely tell men no.
So at what point though does trust factor into that? Like let's say for friends getting married, or I don't know, her friends celebrating a birthday, there's 15 of her friends going out, she wants to join.
Yeah.
At what point does trust play into that? Where it's like you don't want to tell them no, don't go and hang out with your friends because you're going to a club. I mean, to me that just seems like a
well. I say you can't control a girl. You obviously can't do that. You're not gonna stay inside. The only thing you can control is what you do and how you respond. You want to go? Cool. You're single when you come back.
But there's got to be a line here, right? but
no, that's not manipulation at all.
But
that's having boundaries and not acting on it.
That example. Well, hold on. Let me give my example.
Sure.
Okay?
Go ahead.
1 year relationship. She's going out with her friends, celebrating a birthday party.
Sure.
Her whole thing. 15 girls are going to be there. She's known them forever.
Mm-hmm.
You would tell her no. You can't go to that because you're going to a club.
I would tell her you can go and do whatever you do, but you'll be single when you return.
But why? Why would that make sense to throw out a relationship like that? That otherwise is good.
Because if she respects you, she wouldn't want it in the first place.
But that seems like more like an ultimatum that you're placing on.
It's not an ultimatum. She has a choice to make.
Okay, I don't think that's an ultimatum.
No. It's like no. She can do it. She's completely free to do whatever she wants. Because the thing is that she's putting the relationship in a risky situation.
Why? Why would she be? Don't you?
Would you trust?
Because let's be honest here. What are nightclubs for?
Well, here's the thing. So I will say in general.
Oh,
okay. In general,
yeah,
nightclubs are for meeting other people,
okay,
flirting, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I get that, but I've also seen just as many innocent encounters where women want to go to both dance with their friends, have a great time, and I don't see the issue with that. I think it really depends on the context.
I think it depends on the context as well. Like if it's all of her friends and they're like, hey, it's they're mad at home, just have fun tonight. We're all late, we're all drunk, and that one encounter, that one bad friend.
This is a good topic, right? We've covered quite a decent, amount of these things. Where we've covered the girls trip thing, just recently with the Usher stuff, right? Girls having fun and all that stuff. I always wondered, do you think that because here's the man, right? Please check out our other podcasts, right? Our other episodes. He said that if he had his girlfriend and he took her to, let's say, an Usher concert, and Usher picked his girlfriend out of the crowd of hundreds of girls, picked his girl out to go up stage and dance with her, grind up her and stuff. He said he'll be fine with it. I was figuring. Again, I love that you have a different viewpoint than me. But I always think that the more we cover things, right? The more we talk about it, the more things we see. You ever think that your certain views would change on certain things? Because again, I know that you're the type of person who will probably be fine with girls' trips and stuff like that. But it's like we've seen it. We've seen the dark side of the force, shit like that. Do you ever think that, like, you know what? Maybe I should change my perspective on certain things. Or, you know what? Like, we did talk about the Usher thing. I've never, and I gave you my argument and stuff like that. I never asked you, have you rethought your opinion and your view on it? So what do I mean, maybe we could do this some more, right? Where we'll go back to it and see if your opinion has changed again or not. But I want to know after. This is like 16 episodes, right? We've done 16 episodes, man. You guys got to check it out.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
How is your view on the topic of one, girls trips and girls nights or shit like that, right? Girls go and have fun.
So over the course of us doing the podcast, it's given me a lot to think about. I still think I'm giving the person I'm with a lot more wiggle room than say those guys are on Fresh and Fit. But like, all right, maybe I'm not that crazy about the idea of a girl's trip. We all gonna go away. I'm gonna go away without you. No, that doesn't make me that happy. Like, go away without me and do what? Like,
was your view changed by the process of these episodes, or was it or do you have the same idea before you had these?
I mean,
I'm interested.
So in general, and I'm gonna get to this more in a second too. We talk about like what happens on girls trips and what happens on like if I go to a bachelor parties are wild, right? Like, and usually, bachelor parties can be wild and on purpose, right? Because this is the last time you're gonna get to like outright party,
which is kind of stupid, but whatever.
And I won't disagree with you. But then the idea is after that you're gonna be married and you won't do that anymore. So you won't do that without your significant other. So then the idea of your significant other going to do that is kind of wild. And then we're talking about the things that can happen unintentionally while your partner's away and how it can affect the relationship. I'm not crazy about girls trips. But a night out with some friends, I get it. There's inherently a risk. I don't think it's as big as they make it out to be, especially if you trust your partner. Plus, I just feel weird saying, no, you can't go hang out with your girlfriends tonight. And then the next week, I'm going to go hang out with my guy
friend. Here's an argument, right, that Fresh and Fit makes.
Okay.
So
I'm going to say, but I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yeah. So let's look at this, right? One, I think the thing is that men should have boundaries. So let's say this, right? I do agree with you, like, that, if it feels weird that like you your girl goes out and then you say no, but I would feel like it's also like she shouldn't go out anyway, because I mean, in a sense, like I guess I'm kind of like you too, where I'm not that strict. I mean, like, okay, whatever. I don't necessarily care like that much, right? But I've grown to understand that, like, you know what, I'm going to be strict on it. Where this is the thing where what's great with what I'm doing is that I've grown to understand signs. I've heard so many stories, so many stories, where you could pick up red flags. Let's say if my girl comes home drunk, that's not a good thing, right? Blackout drunk. If my girl doesn't come home at all, there's things that will tell me that, okay, yeah, we will break up, right? I won't necessarily say with Myron and say like, okay, if your girl goes out, she comes home, we're broken up. No, but she goes out, I would tell her, cool, you can go out, but know that, you go out, there has to be some respect. There has to be some boundaries, right? I'm not going to tolerate disrespect. And for me, if my girlfriend is blackout drunk or really drunk, come home really drunk, I think that's disrespectful, because again, even if you trust your girl, can you say you trust her if she's crazy drunk? How many people blame drunk on cheating, right? or or decorum, right? Because you could be acting stupid when you're drunk. Things like that, right? Where I'm all about respect and my boundaries. Because then I can't trust you if you coming home in the state, or you don't come home at all, and et cetera, et cetera. So those are one thing. Now, there's a thing that Fresh and Fit does say, that let's say this, right? If you go to the club, right? Let's say you go out to the club with your boys. Compare it to if your girlfriend goes out to a club with her girls. Well, the difference is the chance of you getting a girl is not that high. The chance of her getting a man is practically 100%. So that's the difference where, if you say no, that you can't go out, and then the next week you went out. Well, let's say she has less to distrust you about, because even if you are the most unfaithful person, it don't mean that you go out and then you will hook up, because the chances might not even be that high, right? Chances are likely not that high. So the difference is that, okay, let's say if you are the most faithful person too, well, the chance of even if you're the most faithful person, right? For you to go out and actually cheat, you have to hit on someone, right? You have to go after a girl. You have to spend money. You have to impress. You have to do all this stuff to actually cheat, physically cheat, right? That's the difference. Where if a woman, your girlfriend, goes out, she just stands there. Men will come up to her and do that stuff. So she could just stand there like, okay, whatever. Let's go. She puts no effort in to cheating, right? That's the, and I've seen that point where I do see that there's a bit of hypocrisy to it, right? There's a bit of double standards to it where you're right. Where I say no to my girlfriend going out, but yet I'm gonna go out. But there is the caveat that I never personally thought about, but Fresh and Fit has brought it up, where there is a difference to it, where I can say that, let's say you go out, we always say that women go out and just hang out and have fun with their women, right? Or with their girlfriends. But we worry about the things, the men around them and shit like that, where we worry about the environment they were. But on the flip side, if let's say a men go out, hang out with their boys, right? What is a woman really going to worry about? I mean, like, unless he puts the effort in, right? A woman's not gonna just fall on his penis, fall on his lap, So really, it's like, unless he's going out to the strip club, I think that's like not necessarily the coolest thing ever. When you have a girlfriend and stuff, especially like you said, no, you can't go out to the club, but I'm gonna go out to the strip club. I mean, yeah, that's a little bit, yeah. But like when you said no, you can't go to the club, but I'm gonna go out drinking with my friends. I mean, it's a double standards, but it's like it's not really the same in level. Now,
I get that, like the risk might be different, but guys cheat all the time.
No, I'm not saying they don't.
Right, and so I just feel like to an extent, I guess it's just my general attitude is, if you don't want to be with me, don't be with me. You know what I mean? So if I trust that she loves me and we have a good relationship, I guess I'm not that worried that her night out is going to turn into us breaking up. And if it does, then she threw away a good thing for not much. And that's on her. But if I believe that she wants to be in this relationship, I trust that she's going to come home. Now, I get that there's some risk, and I get that it increases if she's talking about, hey, I want to go spend a week in Cancun with my girlfriends. But that's
definitely broke up.
All right, come on. All right, I'm on your page with that. But she wanna go out to a friend's party or to celebrate, have some drinks. I guess my biggest concern is please be safe. Don't get drunk. You know, I mean, let me know when you're on your way back. But I guess I wouldn't be super concerned about losing her over that. And I feel like, now maybe if you have this discussion before you get into the relationship, it won't happen. But I feel like you bring yourself more trouble making an issue over the one night than you would if she goes. But, you know what I mean? Like, all right, so what if she says I go and you or I say what he said in the video. You can go if you want. When you come back, you're single. She's gonna do either two things. She's gonna say, well, all right, I won't go. But she might feel a certain type of way. And you're fighting over the next week or two. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's the start of a declining relationship. Or she goes anyway, right? And if now you gotta back up what you said, you gotta be 10 toes down. Like, all right, that means we're broken up. I'm not gonna be here when you come back. All right. If you are, like, does she respect you less now because it's empty threats? Like, you know, I just feel like it's more of an issue to make a big deal out of it. And I don't know if it's worth making a big deal out of it.
I do agree that, like, for me, I pick my battles.
Yeah.
Right? What's worth it? What's not? I'll also say that I think what I've grown to, like, I don't care. Like, let's say this. If I was boyfriend and girlfriend, right? Mm-hmm. That level, fine. If we break up, we break up. If we leave, we're fine, right?
Yeah.
I think I'll be more, my thought pattern might be different if it's marriage, where there's risk to it. If she leaves me, there's a higher level risk.
Yeah.
So, would you think that, like, so for me personally, if she's going out, maybe if she's going out on a girl's, even a night out, I think I'm not gonna be too happy about that. Because again, if boyfriend and girlfriend, fine. She goes out night out, and let's say, God forbid, she cheated. Okay, whatever. Let's break up. I'm done. I'm over it. Whatever, right? I could leave it. The thing is, if we're married and shit like that happens, it's just a domino effect of a whole lot of other shit, right? So, do you think that your perspective would change if it was marriage instead of just boyfriend and girlfriend?
That's an interesting question. And then also, that's interesting. You know why? Because I don't know. As you get older, the things you do when you go out are different.
But true. But that's why I think, like, in my mind, let's say this, right? We're like practically in our 40s. So I'm thinking about, like, if I'm dating a woman now and she's going out clubbing, I question her.
That might be a red flag. Yeah, like you.
I mean, unless I'm dating a 21-year-old,
right?
I wouldn't have a chance to. Yeah, I mean, like, if I'm dating a girl who's, like, usually, right, the age range that I've been dating is usually 30 and up, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm dating a 30-year-old, like, probably the lowest, right, I've probably dated in recent years. If she's going out clubbing, I kind of question it. That's like, you're 30 and you're still, like, clubbing. I mean, it's like, I stopped clubbing when I, like, in my late 20s.
Yeah.
Let alone in my 30s.
Like,
so it's like you go clubbing with your girls. I'm like, and then let's say this: her girlfriends are mostly single. I'm like, I think I would question it. And if I was dating her, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend, I was like, whatever, I don't care. I would say I don't want her to do it because I don't like that, but I wouldn't make it a fight, or I wouldn't make it an issue. But I again, like, because any consequences to come out from her, let's say, going out like that, maybe she cheats, maybe she kiss someone, maybe whatever. I'm like, I'll be over it quick. I'm like, I move on. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like, I would question it more, and I would probably put my foot down if we were married. Okay. Because then, one, it don't make sense, because that's definitely a red flag.
Yeah. And
two is, like, I'm not gonna risk a marriage over something, because again, if let's say if she kissed someone, what am I going to do now? what steps I'm going to make? I'm going to divorce. I'm going to do that. It's like a pain, a hassle I don't want to go through. That's what I'm thinking, right? So that's why I want to. Would you change your tune to putting your foot down on girls' night out, all this shit? Definitely girls' trip. I was like, no, we're divorced because you go on a girls' trip, we're done. I ain't risking that shit. But a night out, I don't know. I think I will put my foot down on that.
Really? Okay. I mean,
especially if it's to the club. Let's say she's going for a brunch. Okay, great, do it. I mean, a brunch. If she's going out for a brunch, okay, whatever. If she's going out to, let's say, a dinner with her friends, I'm not that bothered, right? But if she said, "Oh, I know this nightclub or this bar," I mean, come on, you're going to a bar with your friends? I mean, it's like, really? I was like, I'm not crazy about that shit.
I guess not. I mean, so disclaimer, I'm almost 40, right? We just said that. So, and I imagine I'd be with somebody very close to my age anyway.
You think you could date someone who's young, who's like in the 30s? I mean, like early 30s?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
just wondering how young you're talking. I mean, close to.
I mean, now you start saying as low as this is stretching it, but as low as 20 or 27.
Really?
Yeah.
I know this. We're going off topic because I'm interested in it. I'm interested in this.
All right.
So if a 21-year-old girl was interested in you, would you say no?
Yeah, I say no.
Really?
Yeah. You know why?
She's cute. She's mature. She's very mature. She has her head on. I mean, like she ticks all your boxes, except she's 21, straight out of college.
straight out of college.
21, 22, straight out of college. I want to know.
I mean, I'm not one to draw like a hard line. But I mean,
like you saw this girl, you hit on her, you hit, which I would love to see that shit. You hit on her, right? You're clicking with her, everything, but it's the first time, right? First time you're talking to her. She says she's like 22. Would you continue with that? Would you continue talking to her?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, if she's amazingly impressive, amazing, it's still hard for it. It's still gonna be difficult for me to get over the age gap. But you know what? The main reason I wouldn't go that young is because there's such a difference in maturity.
No, I agree. I agree.
And I don't know. And I would feel, even if she were awesome, I would feel weird.
For me personally, I just feel like I wouldn't measure up. Why would I mean, for me, that's why I don't understand how certain men do it.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what I would have that would attract a 22-year-old anyway. So I'm suspicious of it. Why would you even want to be with me?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's like, why would you even be attracted to me?
Right.
Let's say this.
Sometimes some women, just like some guys, like older.
But I do get that. But it's like, for me, I'm just saying me personally, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know why you would, like, let's say I'm just saying a hypothetical girl, like, why would you be interested in me? That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why me, like, for me, it's just like I'm suspicious of it, and I don't trust that kind of scenario for me, because I'm thinking like, yeah, we might not have a whole lot in common, nor do we have same perspective in life and stuff, whatever, right? So a whole lot of stuff. So for me, I don't necessarily care about age. I'm more caring about like state of mind. I don't think she would be, interested in her state of mind may not match up with me. So that's why I was like, I usually wouldn't date someone who's that young, in my personal opinion, just because, not because of her age. I wouldn't mind dating a young girl, but it's just that I don't think we will mesh well, in my opinion. So I don't know.
I think I would feel like automatically around someone that young. For me now, I feel like a dad or an older brother. So like it would just that's what I mean by like I would feel weird. I'd be like, it's like you could be my kid, like you know. And then the other thing is, someone that young, even if they're mature, right? They'll feel one way when they're 22, and before they turn 24, they're completely different, right? There's a lot of things that still, even though you count as an adult, there's a lot of things that are going to change mentally for you. So,
and you know, I think that's a scary thing for me, because then it's like, okay, maybe you like me now, but I doubt you will like me. I doubt you will like me in a couple of years. So it's like, I never like. I think to me, women have always been fickle.
yeah.
So women with like, because I was saying like, it's weird, right? I think it's a different state of mind. A woman in her 20s, in her mind, she has years, right? I think her time, because like we have a sense of time in our brains, right? How we perceive time. So a woman in her 20s perceive time much longer, I think, right? Or they're not in a rush or anything. So their time perspective is very weird. So like they may so they could change things up because their mind just like quickly changes and matures or develops different, because they're always, when they're 20s, they're always absorbing different kind of ideas and different kind of moves, different kind of thought patterns. Okay. So their way of thinking and maturing is very fluid, right? Okay. So that's the thing. So sometimes I think like, for me, like I personally would, I mean, yeah, I would date a woman in her late 20s to early 30s, because it's not for me. I don't want a woman that's totally, because I personally go by like the older you are, the more trauma filled you are. So the more, I don't know, set in your ways you are. And I was like, I want a woman where I can guide, but I'm not her father. That's the thing where I don't need to be. That's why I don't want a woman that's a robot, or you know, like the whole 100% submission shit like that. Yeah. But I do want a woman where I'm the leader. She's following, but she's not. But she's more like, she understands things. She's a bit smarter, things like that. So, I that's why I think the age range, I think for men, at least around our age, the sweet spot is, late 20s to early 30s. I think that's a sweet spot, because like I've dated girls close to my age, and I found out like, man, it's a pain. Women close to the age is like they're pain. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I usually aim older anyway, but I hear you. But yeah, I wouldn't want to go too young. But what were we talking about before that? It was, talk about how young is, I guess, too young, or how young would you date?
Oh no, we were just talking about marriage.
Yeah. If you're married to someone and what they're doing, going out without you, I guess.
Yeah.
And as I get older, I think it would be less of a worry. I mean, I don't think I bet too much of an eye at my girl or wife for wanting to go out and spend the night with her friends. Now, a night every week, like every month, a night, and they're going to the club, and she wants to come home really, really late. You know what I mean? Like I might be like, yeah, go ahead, have fun, but what time will you be back? Please don't drink too much. I need to know you're safe. Let me know when you're on your way home, or where you're going, so I can come get you if something happens. And if she's going out too often, I'm be like, why do you keep wanting to go out all the time without me? What's up with that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it would it would become a problem quickly.
Let me tell you this, right? Well, I guess this is the part where I want to help some men impart some knowledge. One, I personally believe, definitely, I mean, maybe in a boyfriend and girlfriend setting, but definitely in a husband and wife setting, if there's privacy, I personally believe that's a red flag. You are literally, you've seen your partner poop, right? So really, privacy was like, she's hiding her phone. She's like, you're invading my privacy. I think that's a red flag. I've always said in my videos, right? Red flags is not necessarily a breakup, right? Because no one's perfect. So everyone has some red flags to them. But accumulation of red flags and huge red flags are things that you should take into consideration if you want to end something. So I believe privacy, if the demanding of privacy, all this stuff about privacy, I think that's a red flag, because these are signs that I've heard and I've seen shown of cheating. So privacy, going out often, right? Wanting to be away from you, being away from your partner. Why even marry me if you need like time away from me?
Time away from me.
That's a red flag, and I think that's like a huge red flag. Actually, these are huger red flags. So, but if they accumulate, like these are all happening at the same time, I'm sorry, you should leave. This is the signs of divorce. So, privacy, time away from your partner, and then loss of intimacy. Like, if you are having sex with your partner like once a month, once every other month, I think that is at least the downfall of your relationship. I'm sorry, because like one thing is like I would say, right, and I preference it. I personally, if I'm gonna marry someone, I will preference it. If we were having sex once a month, get ready for divorce. I'm gonna say that. I'll say that to my wife. I'll say it to whoever I'm getting engaged to, because because that's just showing, right, where we're not connected anymore. We're not intimate anymore. We don't have that level of love, right? And I get it, right? People are busy, right? People are whatever, life and shit. But like at the end of the day, right? If you don't focus on your relationship, it will only be doomed to fail. So I believe a husband and wife, that dynamic should be a focus in a marriage. How you feel about each other, how you interact with each other, that should be a focus, right? So if I'm having like, and there's time to it, right? If it's been like, I've been dating her for, I don't know, 3 years, about to get married. Well, at that 3-year mark before I engage, we were having sex, let's say 4 times a month. Okay, whatever, once a week, not bad. Okay, that's not like crazy porn star amount of sex. Right. So if we were, that's what I'm saying. I always think that like it's weird, because if you were able to maintain at least a moderate level of intimacy before the marriage, and like you're doing things like you live together, you spend time with each other, you're still working, all these things have not changed. But once the marriage happens, everything's still the same, yet intimacy just falls off a cliff. I can never understand that. And I never understand that people always say like he's changed. You've been with a man for like 5 years, and then once you married, he's changed. It's like, it's flabbergasting me where women always say these things where, oh, I stopped loving him. When did you stop loving him? He's been the same ever since. That's the thing where it's like, I'm always fascinated where women say these shit, okay? But it's like, you dated the man for years. He's been the same for years. So really, it's like, after years of dating the same type of man or being with the same type of man, all of a sudden things change in your heart. So it's not him, it's you. Your feelings for him change, but it's unjust and it's ridiculous. So that's the thing where I said, right, if a woman's change of focus, she doesn't care about the intimacy, she cares about privacy, she cares about time apart from you. I'll say those are things where, and I've learned those things where, because of other men's mistakes, right? Other men's stories of infidelity. I've learned that. It's like, wow, if I see that, I'm going to call my lawyer and I'm going to like, okay, let's draft some divorce papers, because this is like,
figure this out now.
There's really no talking, right? There's no talk. It's like, I always find it funny, right?
Uh-huh.
You hear these stories, of cheating and stuff.
Okay.
They say, "Oh, I still love you." When did you still love me when you're cheating? Right? I want to be with you. I want to make this work. This is the thing, right? All cheaters always say they want to make it work after the cheating, but they didn't want to make it work before the cheating. That's what I mean. For me personally, when I'm saying this, once a woman cheats, it's over. There's no fixing it. Because let me say this, and I'm saying like, if a woman like is really against men cheating, then fine, whatever. I see there's a caveat for men cheating, because this is I think in general, men cheat just to have sex. Women cheat for the emotional connection, also sex. But once you have the emotional connection with another man, I believe the emotional connection with your partner is either gone, dissolved, or just there's practically none there anymore. So for me, I see that where once a woman cheats, because women, they're so picky with partners, right? So it's not an easier process for a woman to cheat, or for a woman to want to cheat, because they have to want a man who's maybe fit kind of a boundary or a preference that they have, so they could be emotionally driven to cheat. For a man, it's like, okay, I haven't had sex in a month. And this woman's giving me attention. I just want to have sex. That's my view, right? I'm not saying that if a woman wants to divorce a man because he cheated, fine. But I'm saying like, there's a big caveat where he could still love you exactly the same before the cheating as he did after the cheating. In general, there are some men that, there's some situations that don't, but I feel like in general, men can still love you exactly the same after cheating, because he's not necessarily, hell, let's say he paid for a hooker. Okay. He just wanted his,
connection there.
Yeah. Not necessarily, right? An emotional connection. Now, if he had an emotional connection, yeah, I would say definitely divorce, because once the emotional cheating happens, I believe it's over. Yeah. The sexual cheating is like, for me, I think that's disgusting anyway, right? For me imagining my wife sexually cheating, but I feel like for a woman, they go hand in hand. I think it's rare for a woman to just like, I just want to have sex, because you gotta think, for the woman to say that when she cheats, usually she dries up her intimacy with her husband. So really, it's like, you didn't want to just have sex, because if you did, you would have it with your husband. Yeah. That's the difference with that's the difference with the men and women dynamic, where hell, I bet this is not like I think like, let's say 80% of cheating, right? And this is maybe, I don't know if it's low ball, high ball, whatever, but I think maybe 80%. If a man was getting it often from his wife, he wouldn't even cheat. And this is the thing where he has to ask for it. He's not like, oh, my wife is always asking for sex. No, that's a dream for most men, right? But on the flip side, right, with the women, it's like, she doesn't even have to, because like, she's the one who controls the sex, right? So she's drying up the sexual intimacy with her husband. And then if she cheats, then I was like, that's disgusting, right? Because so you're not necessarily cheating for sex. You're cheating for the I don't know, validation, all these other emotional triggers, right?
So cheat is wrong. Either way, it happens. I do agree with you. I think guys, their motivation is usually just physical. Unfortunately, though, is as damaging for all the same reasons as it would be if a woman cheated. Because if a woman cheats because she wants to build an emotional or an intimate connection with someone else other than you, well, if you cheat on your woman, it's like you're cutting that emotional and intimate connection, because the way she felt for you.
I want to say this, right? I agree, but I want to say this, right? In a man's cheating, there's a way back. There's a way to fix it, and to it's a long journey. I'm not saying that it's a good thing. I'm not saying anything like that, but I said that in that scenario, there's at least, right, a way back to some normalcy, or fix things.
It's still, but it's still on her though, right? Because she has to be willing to let you back in emotionally.
But I think the flip side is women usually would.
Okay.
Right? Women. I'm not saying they would, but they could, right?
Yeah.
For a man, flip side, man can't, or they shouldn't. I believe a man shouldn't, right? There's absolutely no, because like I said, it's the emotional part. Because if a woman cheats, it's practically 99% comes along with emotional cheating. So that's why I think like that. Because like I said, for a man, he doesn't necessarily will emotionally cheat or go, it's a terrible thing, but because I think if a woman, right, maybe, which is crazy, like the Keke Palmer thing, where she talked about before, where she could be understanding of it or figure out what the problem is. Because you got to think, there's usually maybe a problem that can be fixed with a man cheating, right? For a woman, when her cheating is like, there's usually not a problem to be fixed. Because I heard a lot of stories, right? A woman cheating is like, it's practically everything is perfect or close to it, right? The man is attentive. The man is there for them, providing. He wants to be with her. He wants to have sex with her. He wants to, it's just she still wants other things. That's why I say that it can be, right, in certain scenarios where that road for a man can be fixed because there are tangible solutions.
Okay.
With a woman, there's really no tangible solutions, right? There's nothing you can do to fix it really, because she's already lost her feelings for you, or her feelings for you has already been damaged. So that's what I'm saying.
You might be right. But there's a well, never mind. I'm not even gonna make that reference because I don't think that the artist. I was gonna refer to a song, but I think the artist who sings that song is is canceled. So I'm not even gonna refer to the song. You can move along. But
All right, let's continue.
That it could be rooted in some form of insecurity, not allowing your girl to go to the club. Because for me personally, if I was dating a girl and I truly I believed her and I thought that there was trust between us, I really couldn't care less. As long as she's safe and I know that she will be physically safe, she can go and do as she pleases.
You ever seen your girlfriend's phone or a girl's phone?
No.
Take a look. just one day. Just pick it up one day. Like, you know what? I love you, baby. Fix your phone real quick. I guarantee you, bro. You can look. I'm just saying, right, bro? Like, people you can trust to a certain extent, but environments you can't trust because, for example, it might not be her. It could be her friend. It could be somebody else.
Yeah.
It could be, for example, her ideal type of guy. Oh my God, that's like Des Bryant. You don't know who's in there. It's like, why be in that scenario? We don't know what's gonna happen. And like,
but I feel like that's life, though. It's like every scenario, I don't know what's gonna happen.
No, I don't think that I need control over every single aspect of my life.
It's about mitigating risk, though.
But the thing is, the risk is already so mitigated, and on top of that, there's a risk of just thinking someone else's life is kind of your own when you put this ultimatum on them. That's just not necessarily.
No, it's just what you're willing to tolerate, what you're not willing to tolerate.
To me, it feels like a lot of wasted energy on somebody else when you could be focusing that on
yourself.
Better, yeah. It's just like thinking of like what's in her phone, what is she doing?
Well, he just used that as an example so you guys understand like what what a girl's phone is like. But it's not insecurity. Here's the thing. It's security in knowing that a woman is a woman. Women are emotional creatures. Their actions are dictated by how they feel at the moment and the time. Okay? So if they're with their friends, they're drinking. Their friends want to go ahead. Let's go talk to those guys. They're cute. Blah, blah, blah. That one thing could lead to another. And the thing, like I said before, the threshold for cheating for a woman is far less than that of a man. I look at it, if you're going to dress provocatively, talk to other men, kiss another guy, dance another guy, that's all extremely disrespectful behavior that constitutes as cheating.
I don't think you should kiss other people. And I will at some point say, hey, like,
you're opening the door for it.
I'm going to give you one example.
Go to the club.
So I'm in Miami. I have a lot of celebrity friends, right? This celebrity is also in Miami partying. So one night, we're out at this club, Bendo, and we're in our section, just vibing, having a good time. Girls like, oh my God, I'll come to the section, whatever. There's a bunch of white girls from California, right? They're here in Miami to party, have fun. I think it's somebody's birthday. And at least 5 of them have boyfriends. So they come to the section, they get drinks, whatever, they're just chilling, and we're just talking, right? So some of our boyfriends like, yeah, I have a boyfriend, whatever, we're just cool. We leave the club, go back to their house. bro, I guarantee you, I kid you not, bro. Look at our boyfriends. What are they actually doing at the house? And they're doing the worst. And some of them slept with the
But that's a personal anecdotal experience.
I'm just saying
This
it's
happens a lot.
possible.
It is possible.
I'm not saying it's
Of
something.
course
It
it's
happens,
possible. Anything is
Like,
possible. We can walk outside of the door and get struck by lightning. It's possible.
I say that to say, it's not about all the time. I'm just saying it's possible. So if it's possible to happen, if your girl really cares about you, she'll not be in that environment at all. So you know what? I have to go to my man's home. I'm leaving. For her to stay in that environment, bro, that's disrespectful.
Here's the
But
thing,
I
when
feel
it-
like that's also a small percentage. No.
Yeah, I mean-
I thought we're like maybe 5%. I mean, what would you say out of 100?
What, of cheating or of?
Yeah, both of cheating and women that would put themselves in that scenario.
Well, the new studies now show that women cheat more than men.
The current
50% of married women have a backup guy. Here's the thing, guys. We teach guys to mitigate risk. When men get in relationships with women, they take on far more risk than a woman does. We live in a world now where if you get married to a girl, she can clean you out, take you on alimony, child support, you lose the marital home, etc. Guys take way more risk when they get in long-term relationships with women. So I tell guys, we live in a society where women are encouraged to be hoes, to be promiscuous, to exercise their options, to go ahead and get the best guy that they can get, to date multiple men at the same time. They're encouraged to have all these bad habits that are not conducive to good long-term relationships. So the only way that you can combat this through feminism and everything else that's going on in the modern day world is you need to be very strong in your principle and very strong in your frame. When a girl's with a man that she loves, admires, and respects, and knows that this guy will leave her if she does some stuff like that, that in itself is the power where the girl's not going to say, okay, I want to go to the club, whatever, because she knows better. She knows I'm with a winner. I don't want to put myself in a situation where I can effectively be single by going out to the club with this guy. You need your girl to be more scared of losing you than you are of losing her. And that's where I want guys to be. I want them to be in a situation where the girl likes them more than they like the girl. And I know that sounds evil, but the reason why is because that's the only way you're going to combat the amount of options that women have, the bad habits that modern day women have in practice with the, dating multiple guys, being promiscuous, etc. You need to have the girl like you more than you like her, because that puts you in an authority role, a leadership role, makes you the dominant in the relationship, and it will have her be loyal to you.
Respect.
Because quite frankly, the main thing that men care about when it comes to women is loyalty.
Yeah.
That's really what we care about. Women, on the other hand, tall, money, charismatic, charming, confidence, does he dress well, does he smell well? Men, all we want, be pretty, be loyal.
And she might like you, but does she respect you? That's huge, bro.
And what do you think the difference is between that? What would you call respect?
Because when you have boundaries, she follows them.
Bam.
She likes you, to do whatever she wants. That right there tells you how she really cares about you. And that, guys, for most guys, is like, you know what? She likes me. She doesn't respect me.
Yeah.
That goes along.
And here's the other thing too. The reality is, and this is why our podcast is so popular nowadays, most guys don't have the balls to tell their girl, hey, I don't commit to girls that like to go to the club. I don't commit to girls that like to go on girls trips, etc. Most guys are happy with whatever they can get.
Yeah.
So they'll tolerate disrespect. They'll tolerate bad behavior. They'll tolerate crass attitude, disrespect in front of their friends, getting cursed out, even attacked sometimes, because the need for getting laid is that strong where they'll tolerate female bad behavior all the time. So I tell guys, you need to be on point and not tolerate that bad behavior, because it will make your life miserable.
Yeah. What
You
bad
need that
behavior
respect.
do you see on the men's side?
Being bums and losers, and not having frame, not being an authority in the relationship, and not being willing to tell women what you like and what you don't like, because most guys would prefer their girl not to be in the club. However, they can't tell her that because their sexual market value isn't high enough to dictate those terms. So they can't tell a girl anything because they got the girl by the skin of their teeth. So how are you going to tell her, hey, I don't commit to girls that go to the club? You should be lucky I'm here, and that's the problem.
And if you're a guy, right, that doesn't want to succeed in life, become better, you're selfish. Because once again, let's say we want to get a family, right? If you're not your best version of yourself, that means you're going to suffer. So I want to say, honestly speaking, like if you're a guy who wants to succeed in life, you need to improve. Most guys, what do they want to do? Play video games, smoke weed, relax, and that leads to what? Nothing. So it's just sad, man.
All right, what do you think so far? To be honest, this is why we at the beginning, right? All the way in the beginning, Addison really wasn't a natural fan of Fresh and Fit, but I think, and that's through most people seeing the sensational clips, right? All these, or the hearsay of other people. But I honestly felt, and again, I do not 100% agree with everything, Fresh and Fit say, but I personally always take everything with a caveat, right? I do it, right? I make my titles a bit sensational, so I could like. I had this like okay, this is funny, right? I had this woman comment on one of my videos, right? I have a topic on this video. It says the instability, right, of modern day women. She's like, oh, why do you have to say women? Why do you have to say modern day women? I said it because look at this. You're commenting. You are interacting with my material. I mean, at the end of the day, right? You have to. I honestly feel right where have some critical thinking. These are people trying to entertain, right? People are trying to get you to interact, right? And I want to. This is why I like this our dynamic where I'm going to try to be controversial, where you don't need to, right? Because you'll be someone who's more grounded, right? Because again, you don't have to be. You could, it'd be fun, but I'm going to try to be right where it will be more the spice.
Right, right. I feel you.
So
yeah, I hear you.
That's the thing where people don't understand. Like, take it a little bit with a grain of salt, where it's just a bit more entertaining. But I also think that like they said so many good, I believe, positive thing for men, right? Positive things that I believe is helpful for modern day men that which I think modern day men are guideless. They are, they're cowards. They're directionless. They don't know what to do. They are so depressed, right? Modern day men are very depressed. Yeah, and it's like they're simps. They are feminist men. I just like all these things, right? So, but I think that Fresh and Fit have been a great help to modern day men. But now I said this, right, where I've said it in a lot of my videos. Do not listen to any one person 100%, because you are making yourself into a robot. You are making yourself into a sheep. Take any information you listen to, process it, and kind of reinterpret it into your own life to better yourself. But don't just like have things go into your brain and just like follow, right? Because this is the thing where you always say that you don't want to happen, where you don't want people to turn into bad men and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Tell me your thoughts.
The wrong way. As far as that, the last clip we saw, I mean, I agree with a lot of what they said about men having principle and being willing to stand on that and seeing their self-worth. You know what I mean? Like, hey, look, I'm a part of this relationship too. What I want and how I feel matters. So if we're in this together, you should respect my wishes as well. Still don't know that I'm going to be as strict as they are in a relationship with a woman, but I can follow their logic on it. So I get it. I get it. I also think that, like, I mean, for say someone like I guess Myron, if he's approaching, he's probably approaching women and putting that out in the beginning. You know what I mean? So they know this is the type of guy I'm gonna be with if they decide to be with him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's something you can.
And you know what? This is something where I think I've learned from them. That's what I've learned from them, right?
Yeah.
I learned from them. I learned also from Kevin Samuels, which is another man that you were critical at the beginning of too, where I learned that. That's the thing where I think that, like, honestly, I didn't learn a man being with boundaries, principles, standards. I don't know, because I agree with a lot of things he said, right? Where men are just like, they get a girl at the skin of their teeth. It's like, oh, I'm lucky that I got this girl, right?
Yeah.
Most men feel that, especially the average men, where, man, I'm lucky. Oh my God, I'm scared if I lose her. How am I gonna get another girl, right? Shit like that, where I've been there, I've done that, where I'm scared of losing this girl because, like, I barely got her, right? But I learned to, like, through them and through my own age, right, through processing these information myself, where I'm not worried about it anymore, right? I got you, great. If I don't, whatever, right? I'm gonna be upfront with that. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say in the beginning, right? I want to be a man with my boundaries, my principles, my morals, shit like that. And I put it up front. And that's been more satisfying for me. Doesn't necessarily give me like a great success rate with women, but
Well,
you know,
but you know what? I actually think once you've got that down for all of us, myself as well, it makes you have to ask a woman. But I think it makes you more attractive to women when you're, you know, when you're like, hey, this is who I am, and this is how I feel, and these are my boundaries, and these are my expectations, and I know what I want. I know who I am, and I know what I want. And if you have that type of energy, I think it makes you. I think women are really attracted to that, as opposed to somebody who's wishy-washy or who do whatever you want. You might get the girl because she thinks she can get, you know, whatever she can out of you, but I do sense that in a lot of what they're talking about, that, you know, the image they project is, hey, this is the kind of man I am, and I'm confident in that, and that confidence and that standing on your principles, I think, attracts a lot of women.
okay.
So yeah, build yourself up and be.
But what how your opinions have your of Fresh and Fit?
So I don't think I don't think they hate women. I don't think they hate women. I don't think they're completely misogynistic. That's how I thought of them before. I'm like, oh, these guys, right? Because all the clips were like, listen, women are the problem, and you need to tell them what to do, and they need to fall in line. And I mean, there's still a lot of that in there. But I actually, having listened to them discuss some of their points, like I can follow their logic. I understand where they're coming from, and with a motivation on. I can see good in a lot of things they're talking about. I still don't agree with everything, but
And you know what? That's the thing where I want our platform, right, to promote that stuff, right? Where you don't have to agree with us on everything. You don't have to agree with. You should not. I mean, you could, but you shouldn't agree with anyone on everything, because then, you know, because you gotta say to yourself, are you using your own critical thinking? Because you might not be. But I mean, I would like say that you can't, if you want to agree with everyone, but take it with a grain of salt and process it yourself. You know, it is good for you. It's beneficial for you to grow your own brain, right? Grow your mind, grow your mindset, and that's a part of it where you're growing. So, yeah, I you know, that's what I want us to promote. I want us to be help. I mean, and if we could become the Fresh and Fit, because they have over 1 million subs, so I would. That's a dream. That's a dream of mine, right?
it can happen.
Yeah, I'm hoping for it. All right, let's continue.
Like how you have to prioritize yourself. You got to get in the gym, make your money, become the man, right? And then the girls will be a byproduct. But the problem is that guys think I can be mediocre and still get a girl.
But I think it's some of that though. You could still have a great job, have passion, be who you are, and then go on a date, instantly get friend zoned because you don't have that charisma, you don't have that tension, you don't know how to talk to them. So I think a lot of that is really just practice. And
that too.
And socializing.
That's why we say you got to go on multiple dates and deal with a lot of girls. I have a rule. I tell guys, don't get married until you're 35, making 6 figures a year, 6 months to 1 year of savings, in shape, going to the gym consistently, and having sex with 50 girls.
50.
Yeah.
That sounds like too much work.
But
listen,
50 girls.
The time for 50, you could be spending that doing something that better your own life.
Well, you got to get all those other things in place too.
But willing to you, but whatever the heck you want. Well, you know what's scary, right? You said that's a lot of time. It's not really. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
The time you spend working on yourself and figuring out what women actually want and what their nature is save you money and time in the future. Let's say, for example, you spend your whole life on business, your career, right?
Yeah.
That's all you know. You find a woman, she's attractive, you like her, marry her. Guess what? You don't know about human nature, how women can be, or what women actually want. You give her all this stuff, you're kind of spoiling her. She's like, you know what? I don't value him anymore. I'm going to leave. She cheats on you, divorces you, takes out half your stuff. But if you knew how women were from the very beginning, that experience, you know what? She's actually not a good person. She actually wants to use me for my money. I don't want her.
Let me tell you where the 50 girl thing came from.
Wouldn't you sit that out though in the beginning?
You can't because you don't know.
Here, so let me break this down for you. This is why I said 50 girls.
Yeah.
By the time a girl hits puberty, she's getting hit on by guys constantly. Whether it's kids at middle school, high school, the weird teacher, at a party somewhere, when she goes off to college, etc. Women have thousands of interactions with the opposite gender.
Yep.
Guess what happens? That's a lot of practice. They get a lot of practice and figure out which guys are cool, which guys are weird. This dude has this weird tick. This guy has money, but he's a lame, etc. Women become black belts
Experts.
at discerning male value. Men, however, don't get nearly as much practice because you actually have to go up to her, formulate some kind of sentence, come up with some pickup line, etc. Most guys don't get the reps in that they need to. Women, however, get all the reps in, right? And in today's society, not only do girls get the reps in, right, through social media, guys coming up to them, whatever, they're also encouraged to exercise their options and date a lot of guys. Women nowadays are more promiscuous than ever before. So, as a man, how are you going to be able to go out there and pick a girl that's marriage material and or girlfriend material for a serious relationship if you don't have the same amount of reps and practice? Here's the problem. Guys go out with a girl. The girl will behave in a manner that she thinks the guy will like. The guy's an idiot. He doesn't have enough sexual experience, hasn't dated enough girls, doesn't know how to tell a hoe from a housewife, and he ends up committing to this girl, marries her, gives her a house, etc., gets divorced, destroyed, alimony, paying child support, because he didn't understand how women think and female nature. They make the cardinal mistake of thinking that men and women are the same, and we are not. But you only get that through experience. And I say if you haven't had sex with 50 girls, you're going to be decently okay at being able to tell a girl that's worthy of a relationship, which one isn't, because women have an inherent advantage from the amount of reps that they get throughout their lifetime dealing with opposite gender.
I just don't know if it's intercourse that's like the actual metric of like, oh, I understand how women's mind works. And also, one more thing.
No, it has to be intercourse, and I'll explain why.
It's a full package.
Okay, I want to hear you explain why. And at the same time, also, if girls are constantly receiving like guys that are like complimenting them, trying like hitting on them or whatever, like in middle school, etc., like you just said, wouldn't that require a guy in the equation that's doing the exact same thing?
But it's many different men, is my point.
Wouldn't you just grow numb to it after a certain point? Like it just becomes like it kind of pings off of you. And
That's the
like,
point.
But that's the point.
That's
They
the
get
point.
they get practice to the point where they're judoing guys out of their way naturally. Versus you as a guy, you don't know what you're doing, because when you talk to a girl as a guy, she's a black belt of social dynamics at that point. An 18-year-old girl can walk into a room, size up the room immediately, because not only do women have social superiority over men, but they're also able to detect a man's value immediately off of how he comes off. You guys said first in the beginning of the podcast, confidence is the most important thing. You want to know why?
Yeah.
Because when a man is confident, it's a symbolizer for accomplishments in his life. And girls look for what? Security. That is why confidence is so, when you peel the layers back, that's why confidence is so important. But girls are able to detect that from your tonality, the way you convey yourself, body language, etc. And girls have this experience way more than you by the time you actually go up to her at the party and talk to her.
But that is why it goes like older men, because they're more experienced, they know what they're going through in life, and they know what they want.
Now, intercourse, to answer his point.
Hold on, wait. What are the two sides of the token? Because the girls,
Intercourse.
it has to be a guy, right?
Okay.
What you're saying, like the girls, they get all this experience sizing up guys or whatever.
Yeah.
The person that they're talking to in the first place is a guy that's getting experience.
But they're not fucking every guy.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? The guy that she's talking to, either he's a player, he's older, or he knows the game. If
So you're saying it's very limited selection of guys that are getting all
a
these
small
a
amount.
different group of girls,
Yes.
a bunch of experience.
Yeah, they get very good at weeding out losers, because most guys are losers. But the point is that they get the experience. Girls get good at weeding out losers. Men never get the experience of weeding out loser chicks, because they'll take whatever they can get because they don't get the same experience.
I don't know. For me, I feel like it just seems like an arbitrary number, and I think you can find somebody without 50.
Of course. Can you have 20 and meet the girl of your dreams and get married? Of course. But what I'm saying is that generally speaking, you're going to be in a very good position if you have those 5 things in place that I mentioned to get out there and get married.
Bible is just a foundation. If you can make it happen, then perfect.
If you want to get married in today's day and age with all the risk going on, I think those are the minimum requirements. Now, is everything 100%? Like, let's say you make $90K per year. Like, can you still, you're 10K off, fine. But what I'm saying is that you need to have experience with women. The main
I've just always believed that if you have purpose, passion, you do what you love, you're excited about life, you have friends, you go out and socialize every now and then, I feel like that will naturally attract people to you. And then from there, as long as you have the time and the resources to spend.
One of the things why I like these two guys, right, talking, because I imagine you. If you were on the other side of Fresh and Fit, right?
I feel like that's exactly how to.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, so that's why I was watching this. Like, I wanted to wait to watch this with you because I felt like if if you were interviewing and talking to Fresh and Fit, you would have the same way of thinking as these two guys, right?
Yeah.
Where I would think that like this would perfectly will show you like, oh, what would Fresh and Fit say to me because I'm saying these things. That's why I thought this was really good.
Okay. Because that's how it feels. I'm sitting here. I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely basically the guys on the other side.
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking. Like,
dude, we were like, this can't be happening. This can't be real, but it is. It's sad, bro.
Because the thing is that guys like us suffer from the Apex file. So we think, oh yeah, it's not that hard. Like, yeah, girls are easy. No, man. Like a lot of guys are struggling. And the more I interview girls on our show,
we see why.
Every girl, it's crazy. When I ask girls, describe your dream man. 6 foot plus, over $100,000 per year. Yeah, I want him to have a degree, all this other stuff. Man, that's less than 1% of the population matches up what they want. And all the girls are chasing the same guy. And worse yet, they think they deserve him.
But to be fair, that could be like a different, like the girls that you're having on your podcast are like they're from Miami. I've seen a couple of the clips.
No, a lot of them from other states and other countries.
Everywhere, bro.
And different education levels.
I feel like it goes the other way.
Okay, this is what I want to talk about, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of and I've said this in my own videos, right? A lot of detractors, haters of Fresh and Fit, right? Or of, let's say, other new men's podcasts that has women on. They always say that, oh, you always have the most prettiest women, women that are like from Miami, party city, shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. So college girls, shit like the same type of women. But, right, the woman that he was saying, right, the one's 6 foot, 100K, charismatic, charming, funny, all this shit, right? Mm-hmm. And they say that, oh, you only have the same type of woman, so no duh that all these women want the same thing, right? You have college girls and that. This is why I say you're wrong. Because, again, please check it out. I do live and I do, like, separate videos where I do breakdowns and reviews, right, of Kendra G, which she does a singles kind of show. So, single women, women from, I don't know, 21 to 60, saying the same thing. I want a 6 foot man making over 100K. Even the 60-year-old say that shit, right? This is the thing, and this is the thing where people don't give credit to the Godfather himself, Kevin Samuels. He has black women, average-looking black women, right? Women that are not like, your young college girls too. They're not that. They're average women. Women that me and you would see walking down the street. They want the same thing. Men that are like 6 foot, men that are like mad charming, men that are, makes a good, decent living, probably close to 100K. Even those women will want them. So this is the delusion of the haters, because no, even average women will want it. I can tell you this, right? I had a client today. She was a dancer, and even the things she was saying, right? Because sometimes women don't even say 100K, but they will allude to it, because like she's saying, oh, men should these men are like so broke, they're not paying for all these things for me, right? Paying for my rent, paying for my bills. Women always say like, oh, paying for trips, because they say these lifestyles, right? But these lifestyles cost money. So a man that's like making 50K, which is the average, right? 50K is about average medium for average men in the US. Uh-huh. Well, men that are making average money can't be spending, like water on like, oh, let's a girl's trip, a trip to Dubai, a trip to or like, oh, your nails done there, your hair done there, your bills here. But no, what that alludes to is that they want a man that makes a lot of money, which kind of like 100K above, right? 6-figure above, so he could be able to afford all that stuff, where it's easy for him. So a man that makes, let's say, $500,000, okay, him paying for nails is like nothing, right? Right. So that's something where it don't affect him, but those are the side languages that women say, right? Right? That how they. Oh, I don't say 100K man. I don't want a 100K man, but they say all this. I want a man to pay my bills. I want a man to like take me to, I don't know, fancy restaurants. I want a man to take me to the Poconos shit, or like Cancun or shit like that. What does all that mean? A man that makes a lot of money, right? So it's side language for saying like you might as well just say you want a 100K man, right? A 6-figure man. This is the thing, right? So I think on average, generally, this is a hot take. I would say 99% of women want this type of man. Now, I mean, if I want to like take a step back, I think majority of women do, but I think practically all women do, right?
Okay.
What do you think?
So probably, and if you ask, but let me ask you something. If I ask you to describe your dream woman, will you describe the kind of girl you can get? Sort of outside of, would you describe like, I don't know, like Sofia Vergara, you know what I mean? Or
I get that. I mean, if you see my dream woman,
yeah,
no, I wouldn't. But
right.
that's the thing where I see that, and great point, right? But the problem or the difference is that men are more realistic. Men believe that's a dream. That's definitely a dream, right? Let's say if me getting, I don't know, Nicki Minaj. That's a dream. It's a pipe. Literally, it's a not happening. But the difference between women, their dream, they believe it's reality. Oh my God, God's gonna give me this Idris Elba. Oh, God is gonna drop it on my lap. I know it. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna literally wait for the man. I'm gonna no, I'm not gonna entertain any man unless he's Idris Elba. Shit like that, where women actually put that crazy dream to reality in the sense that I'm gonna wait for that. Okay. Men is like, yeah, I may want Rihanna, but fuck that. I don't expect him to get Rihanna, right? And like again, I mean, like I said, like let's say this: I want a girl that's maybe kind of petite or like a little bit more hourglass, but I've dated bigger women, right? I dated maybe women that a while back we did that 3-picture thing, right? Yeah. Where different size. I dated girls ranging from all 3 of those sizes, right? And the one girl I said like was like kind of big. I mean, like actually kind of really big. I was like, I dated girls that size too. Okay, so what? I mean, the thing is like for me, personally, like, I mean, like I want you to be at least cute, right? I mean, even a bigger girl can be kind of cute, right? Yeah. At least it's like, for me, it's like as long as you're not a 3 in your face, right? I can deal with it, right? And it's like if you're really, what do you think? If I think you're ugly, and then you're fat as well, I was like, okay, I'm not, I'm sorry, right? You gotta be at least like, I'm saying like, oh, I'm not saying you gotta be drop dead gorgeous, right? I'm not saying like, okay, if you're a 4 in the face, I was like, okay, fine. I care more about, I care about personality, but looks is a little bit of a factor. That's why it's a little bit, right? Where it gotta be at least a little bit put together, right? Buck tooth, like missing teeth, crazy ass big nose, eye kind of. It's like then you just like no. I'm just like, come on, right? So I have to have a little bit of a standard. But it's like, I mean, it's like you're okay, I mean, nice skin, okay, proportional, all the stuff, you're maybe a bit chubby, whatever, I don't care, loyal, respect, loving me, right? Wanting to be with me, that's more important to me, right? Personality, your likes, your dislikes, that's more important to me, right? So, yeah.
I would say that I think there are more women who think that way too than I think we sometimes give them credit for. I think I've met a number of women who, like I said, it's reasonable. That's reasonable, right? I also think, and we ding them for it. So this is going to be a topic for maybe another time, but older women think that way.
What do you mean?
Like a girl who's 23 might want, might be like, I'm gonna get my perfect guy, and a woman who's 33, 35 might be like, well, that's still my perfect guy, but I'm realistic. I'm going to get a guy who has the more important qualities.
See, that's where I think you're delusional. I
I'm
think you're naive.
delusional.
See, you're like these guys, right?
Maturity makes somebody more reasonable.
I'm sorry, right? I think for women, they get more into what they want, because like I think as they age, right, they fuck it. They spent so many years of their life, right, without a man. They're like, no, I want to stick with what I'm gonna, right? How many? I don't know about you, right, but I've listened to it so many times. How many women say, I'd rather, what was it? Oh, God, I forgot the things. Like, I'd rather fail on my own or shit like that. You know? Where like they say like, oh, if this man doesn't meet my standards, I'd rather just, I could pay my own bills, or I'd rather just like suffer on my own if I'm going to suffer with another man, like shit like that, or like so they will still be within their delusion, and I've done videos and videos on it, so that's why like no, bro, that's the thing different between me and you. I'm immersed in this world, right? That's why I'm getting the craziness of it, because I'm pretty much immersed into this, like the craziness of this world, where I've seen it and I feel it. Let's do a few more and we'll wrap it up. Let's do this one.
Negative way to look at it, but I hate my competition. That's what fuels me.
I feel like it's just the beginning for us.
Sure. Yeah, we're trying to take over. We're trying to wake more guys up, keep guys from being simps.
Yeah, but don't you feel like there's also something to be said about lifting other people with you?
Yeah, we're lifting.
But I'm talking about competition.
For what?
No, fuck them.
Why?
But what if they have the same mission as you? Because the end all be all isn't like, sure, maybe it is to be the best, but I would assume it's also to help what you diagnose as.
We're the best at what we do. I don't think they are. We're gonna. I look at it like their competition. That's cool. We're gonna continue to remind everyone we're the best.
And also, if that was the case, they would have did it before us, not after us.
We refuse to lose.
But here's the thing: someone could see what you're doing and say, you know what, they're messing up in these places. I'm gonna take what you're doing, but I'm gonna fix these few things. Like when I looked on YouTube originally, it was Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, a few people like that. I was looking at what they're doing. I'm like, I like it. There's an audience for it, but I could do it this way. And that's how, like, that was my entire approach, just seeing what they're doing, but like putting my own spin on things. And I have a feeling a lot of people will see what you're doing and find, here's a few blind spots that they're missing. Maybe they're too controversial. They're too this. Maybe I have to take a more middle approach. I'll attract a way bigger audience.
But you know what's funny?
Yeah.
They do the same exact thing as us. So they didn't change anything.
Well, I think eventually you're going to get someone who is able to see what you're doing and then put a different spin on it. So ever so slowly.
Oh, this is perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is exactly what I think that we could be, right? I mean, we're not there, but I think that's what we are, right? Where I see because like, again, I see the fresh and fit ideal, but I always feel like they're bordering on more high value men, right? I don't think that, every man, I mean, I think men should go to the gym, but I mean, will they? I don't think they will. But the thing is, like, I want to gear towards, truly the average men, right? What a man can do, right? Even if, I mean, yeah, you could go to the gym, but what man should do, right? Definitely do is the mindset. Where I've said it with us, right? Where I want us to promote like boundaries, morals, principles, like standing your ground about how you feel, expressing your emotions, expressing your thoughts, your feelings, your opinions, right? Things like that, where I feel like that's where I think we have that niche where I feel like we're promoting that. I don't necessarily, and also like I'm not saying the things that we're not dating experts, so that's not where I want to go about, right? Where I'm not advising men how to pick up a girl. I would never do that. But I do advise men how you should interact with women, because I interact with women plenty, right? I've dated women, but I don't have a success rate to say that, oh, you should do this. But I do believe that men should be have their boundaries, be upfront with their views, be upfront with their wants and needs and whatever stuff like that. I believe, and I'm telling you, right, in the next coming months, where I think the channel is going to get bigger, I am hoping where you will take on a full partnership role. That's what I want, right? I mean, you could if you want to. If you don't want to, I'm fine too. Because I'm still building this channel, right? Regardless, but I want where, you know what, I'm not fresh nor fit, or I'm not fit or anything, and you're not fresh.
Yeah.
But I want us to be that, that kind of position where I'll give props to them too, because I've said it. I just said it recently where I learned a lot from them. I have, but again, I don't want to take. I'm not necessarily approaching it the same way as them, because then I think nothing will never be never, right? But I'm doubting I will ever have a panel full of women. I'm down that, because again, it's a headache. Women will argue over each other. Will argue with me. Then things will be emotional. I find that's not productive. But okay. I mean, I may have we may have guest women, talking, but again, I'm not necessarily, that's not necessarily the idea where I want to go, because I want productive, fun men conversations, right? That's more my ideals, where I do want for us to maybe later down the road, go out, try to have datings or try to interact more with because I have been kind of dating more, and I've been interacting with women. I've been expressing the wisdom I've learned, like I said, being upfront with the women, saying the things I'm saying, right? So it's a nice antidote. Just nice talking points. So I think like that. So I think we could be, a different take on, the whole Fresh and Fit, the two men dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Okay. All right, absolutely, it's possible. We could do that and catch them, and we can remind them who's the best.
Oh shit! I mean, having confidence is always a great thing. I think I'm telling you, right? If I see that, right, because we're growing quicker and quicker, and I'll tell you this, right? In these men's spaces, I think it's very hard to grow. It is especially with these topics. I think it's very hard to grow. Plus, I mean, I guarantee you, I pay for nothing, right? Everything is free. I'm not paying for views. I'm not paying for subs. So which I know some creators are, especially some of the smaller ones. They're probably paying for some, because I've seen it where I had some advertisements come to my way, right? Where it's like, oh, if you pay this much, we could get 1,000 or a couple thousand to see your things. Sounds tempting, but no, yeah. I rather just do it naturally. I rather do it like this is only a hobby. That's why I'm not saying I don't know your future in this, because it's really a hobby. You're doing it when you have your spare time, and you barely have your spare time, right? But I feel like when we hit certain milestones, it is a good showing to you that maybe this could be, something, right? Maybe this could be actually a side hustle. And so this is not a side hustle, right? This is just a side hobby. But I think once it hits certain milestones, it can turn into that. So I don't know. That's what I'm thinking about this.
Okay.
So let's see if we finish this up.
And you'll be able to see that. I think those are the people to work with.
Possibly.
Yeah.
We'll see. But so far not.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we use hate. For me personally, I use hate as fuel. I'm gonna smack you guys, and we're gonna beat you. That's how I look at it. Then when I was an athlete in college, that's how I looked at it. Yeah. And that's how I look at it now. Anyone that's trying to come in our lane and do what we do, I'm like, cool. Yeah, congratulations. You guys have just motivated me to embarrass you even more and do even more. So we're trying to get bigger guests.
Yeah.
We invest more into the podcast to get better equipment, etc. I look at it as fuel, because I truly think that we're the best. We're going to stay the best, and we're going to continue to remind everyone why.
I'm not popular and whatever, but I think the things that me and Myron do, no one else can actually really do.
Yeah, I feel like a rising tide lifts all boats in that sort of sense, where like the more people get into a certain niche or an industry, generally the more attention it gets, the more people are able to grow and prosper because of that. That's just been my experience. The finance would be a great example of that. The finance space, and the more people watching finance, the more my own content gets recommended. So it generally, there's this like this benefit effect where people circulate from one to another to another.
No, they can raise on their own.
Okay.
No, I mean, hey, like I said
Everyone's
before,
different. Everyone's
competition,
different,
like for me, I look at competition as like, cool, we're gonna beat their faces in. I'm just a very competitive person. There's no, oh yeah, friendly rivalry. No, we're gonna end you guys. We're gonna remind you why you guys are inferior to us. So that's how I look at it. I'm hyper competitive.
Approach.
Yeah. Like I look at it as like motivation. Like we're gonna get better cameras than you guys. We're gonna get better guests, better production quality. We're gonna film better content. We're gonna script our stuff better, have better questions, whatever it may be. So I look at it like we're just gonna provide more value to the audience. Like my goal is like how many more lives can we impact than you guys? That's how I look at it. And to me, like the most satisfying thing is when someone sends me a message like, "Yo, you changed my life. Yo, I was gonna do this to myself, and now that I'm doing it anymore." Like the more messages I get like that, the more of that we get in our competition. That's a W for me.
We wish them all the best.
Fair enough.
But they don't take it out.
All right.
So
See that? I mean, like, that's where I don't agree with them, right? Where I don't care, right? I don't care. I've lately I've been seeing, you know, at least in the men's space, right, where men talking about women and stuff, right, relationship things. I see more and more small time creators coming up. So I was like, but for me, it's like I don't care. You know, I'm gonna stick with my own thing. I'm gonna do my own thing. I can see that it's. I mean, I don't even see it as competition, right? I'm seeing like that's why I'm not worried about other people's success, right? Because again, I don't want. I'm not making this a life, right? Especially where it's now, right? But even if, let's say hypothetically, we get 1 million, right? 1 million subs. I don't see it as okay. I'm not worried about other people's success, and I will be actually fine with it, right? I'll be fine with other people's success. The thing is that I guess I'm not that competitive like that. I've never been that competitive, right? And I just feel like there's always enough to go around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, sometimes I watch multiple different, men's content creators anyway. So I was like, okay, I mean, like, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, I at the beginning, right, when I had like only 100 or so, I have looked at other people and why they're growing and stuff like that. But I was like, you know what? I'm doing this just for fun, right? I'm doing this because I have a different way of thinking where if I could affect any man, that's great. That's awesome already, right? So if another creator, encourage like a Fresh and Fit encourages men to do better, I'm happy. I'm just happy that there are people guiding other men or supporting other men. That's how I see it. Where I just want to support men and give voice to men. That's it. So really, if there are other men doing it, awesome. More men should do it, right? More men should give voice or listen or let men's opinions and feelings actually resonate and be a stronger force in the world, right? So that's why I'm for it. Where men say the struggle that men go through with dating.
Yeah.
More men talking about it, more men showing it. That's great.
That's great. It's positive.
Yeah.
That means what you're doing is working.
Yeah. I mean, but obviously they are the top men's forum or men's, I don't know, entertainment or show. So they're doing what they're doing to, obviously they're pioneers in their way of doing it. So if that's success for them, that's great. I'm not looking for that kind of, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not even caring about that level of success. If I get it, great. If I don't, I'm not that bothered.
It's okay.
Yeah. So, any last thoughts? Have you seen this? Like, you can put thoughts on Fresh and Fit or thought on anything. What's your last?
Nothing crazy. I thought it was interesting to see them in a situation where they were interacting with other podcasters, you know what I mean? Other guys who work in the same field and just sort of having a discussion. That was an interesting dynamic. And, you know, when they said something, they were getting challenged on it, and it was like a back and forth, and that was cool. Outside on that, I think I've said everything, you know, I feel about the clips, and they're interesting. And I would echo what you've already said, like, take what you hear from other people and process it. Ask yourself how you feel about that and what you think about that, and formulate your own opinions.
Okay. Well, I mean, it was a good show. I personally always like watching Fresh and Fit. I don't watch them as much now because the content kind of gets repetitive, or it gets, because of how they do it, it's like a whole lot of girls. I get tired of it. You know, because getting girls talking, it's just, that's why I don't necessarily want that for my content, right? I rather, you know, men talking with other men. It's like, you know, when you're shooting the shit, or like, you know, the barbershop talk. I think that was always cool. So I don't watch them as much as anymore, but I mean, I always like hearing like this form right here where they're just talking between each other. It sounds very civil, sounds very intellectual. You know, I like this. This is my cup of tea. So I always like listening to them. But yeah, it was fun. Fun talking. I always love talking to you. But that's it. Hope you guys like it. Thanks for joining. Later, guys.
Have a good one.